Your existence doesn't begin with a newborn's wail. It starts in absolute silence. You are an infant, dangling over a sheer drop. An elder stares down at you, eyes scanning for any sign of weakness. A single flaw, and you are cast into the abyss without hesitation. But you don't scream. You meet his gaze steadily, a slow nod. You have passed the first judgment. Life is granted. Fast forward, you are 7. Your mother no longer has any claim over you. The state, the Agoge, claims you now. You are taken to the military encampment in the hills. No soft beds exist here. You sleep on rough bundles of cut reeds that you tear apart with bare, bleeding hands. Food is stripped of any pleasure. It exists only as fuel. Every evening you receive a bowl of thick, black broth that resembles liquid mud, a mixture of animal blood, vinegar, and coarse salt. The taste is revolting, yet the protein it delivers powers your growing muscles. Still, the portion is never enough. Hunger becomes your constant companion. If survival matters to you, you learn to steal. But you learn even faster never to be caught. Discovery means a brutal beating. Footwear is forbidden. You run barefoot across the razor-sharp limestone of Herodotus. At first, every step is agony. Over months, the soles of your feet thicken into calloused armor. Clothing is treated as a rare privilege. You are issued one short woolen tunic that must last an entire year, through scorching summers and freezing winters alike. When frost bites deepest, you gather handfuls of stinging nettles and rub them vigorously over your skin. The burning sensation is preferable to the slow death of hypothermia. Even rest is a trial. You fashion your sleeping mat by snapping reeds with raw hands. No blade allowed. Fresh cuts open constantly. Once a year comes the festival of Artemis Orthia. The name sounds poetic. The reality is savage. A public contest in endurance under the lash. The whip tears flesh open. Your only objective is absolute silence. The slightest cry brands you a coward forever. You clench your teeth until your jaw aches and endure. Then comes pankration, combat without limits or mercy. Teeth, nails, joint breaks, eye gouges. Everything is permitted. You are taught how to kill efficiently. Your opponent is the boy who shared his meager meal with you at dawn. By dusk, you are trying to shatter his ribs. Literacy receives only the barest attention. Far more important is brevity. Every word must strike like a spear. Thrust, short, precise, lethal. You grow up hearing the tale of the fox cub. A boy stole a young fox and hid it beneath his cloak. The animal gnawed through his stomach. He never uttered a sound, never betrayed the theft. He died still silent. That story becomes your highest standard. Better to perish than to be exposed. Concealment is your strongest shield. At 16, the real nightmare begins. The Krypteia. They hand you a dagger and send you into the night to hunt human prey. The helots, the state's slaves who have grown too powerful or too bold. 3 days and nights without sleep. You melt into shadows, become invisible. One careless footfall and the hunted become the hunters. They will tear you apart. Then the moment arrives. A silent leap. A single, clean thrust through the throat. No honorable duel, only cold, necessary elimination. The first blood stains your hands forever. Pity evaporates. You finally grasp the brutal equation, us or them. At 20, the Agoge formally ends. Yet the greatest test still waits. Admission to the Syssitia, the communal military mess, is decided by vote. Each man is given a piece of bread. If even one person secretly crushes his portion in his fist, instead of letting it fall untouched, you are rejected for life and become a permanent outcast. The bread falls whole. You are accepted. A new family is born around. For the first time, you are permitted to carry the hoplite shield, the symbol that you truly belong. Now we turn to the tools of your trade, the gear your body has been forged to wield. Your spear, the dory, stretches nearly 3 meters. Its leaf-shaped iron head slices through bronze armor and bone alike. The butt spike is bronze, sharp enough to finish a fallen enemy. Next comes the xiphos, a short 60-centimeter blade, reserved for when the spear shatters and the fight collapses into desperate close quarters. Your aspis shield is no ordinary protection. It is a portable fortress, 1 meter across, weighing 8 kilograms. It guards you from neck to knee. Critically, you support its weight on your forearm, not your hand, allowing you to hold position for hours without collapse. The Corinthian helmet is hammered from a single sheet of bronze, terrifying to behold. Yet it muffles every sound around you and severely limits vision to a narrow slit. You fight like a walking siege engine, peering through that iron-framed gap with focused intensity. Over your torso goes the line of thorax, layers of glued linen. Lighter than metal plate, yet tough enough to stop arrows and absorb impacts. Fully equipped, your panoply weighs roughly 30 kilograms, half your body weight after years of grueling training. The load once crushed you, but now it feels like a natural extension of your hardened frame. You fight not as a solitary champion, but as part of the phalanx, a solid, living wall of bronze and discipline. Each hoplite is merely one block in this unbreakable human structure. The core rule is harsh and absolute. Your aspis shield must cover your left flank and, crucially, the right flank of the comrade next to you. In turn, he shields your left. This chain of mutual protection binds you all. If anyone weakens or falls, the gap opens and the whole line begins to collapse in blood. Abandon your shield during combat. That betrayal earns death or lifelong banishment. Lose only your helmet, a steep fine and shame. The helmet protects just your head. The shield preserves the entire formation and its deadly unity. The year is 480 BCE. King Leonidas leads 300 of Sparta's finest warriors. You stride among them, straight toward the narrow, rocky pass of Thermopylae. The haunting, steady trill of flutes rises above the column, locking every step in perfect rhythm, calming ragged breaths, and clearing the mind for the coming carnage. Beyond the gorge waits Xerxes' vast Persian army. Legend speaks of 1,000,000 men, an endless human tide. Yet to your hardened Spartan gaze they seem almost ridiculous. Bright, flowing robes, soft felt caps, fragile wicker shields that would shatter at the first thrust. They appear delicate, effeminate, unworthy of the name soldier. A Persian herald rides forward and demands that you lay down your arms. Leonidas, eyes fixed on the enemy, answers with 2 words that will echo through the ages: come and take them. The narrow pass contracts to just 15 meters across. The Persians' vast horde turns into a helpless, choking mass. No prayers rise from your lips before the fight begins. Instead, you calmly run a comb through your long hair and rub it with olive oil. The old Spartan rite for warriors who sense this day will be their last. You choose to meet death looking noble and composed. The Medes rush in first, shouting wild, ranks in disarray. You stand motionless until they step into range. Then, the phalanx surges forward one deliberate pace. Shields crash against bodies with bone-jarring force. Spears move like pistons in perfect time. Thrust, pull back, thrust, pull back, relentless and mechanical. This is not a collection of individual duels. It is relentless, mechanical slaughter on an industrial scale. The hoplites behind you shove forward relentlessly, their heavy shields grinding into your back, transferring the crushing momentum of the entire phalanx onto your straining shoulders and legs. Beneath your feet, the earth has become a slick, crimson mire of blood and churned dust. You step over piled corpses as if they were uneven stepping stones, each movement precarious yet unstoppable. Fire races through every muscle as lactic acid builds to unbearable levels, but stopping even for a heartbeat would doom the brothers on either side. A piercing whistle cuts through the din. Time to rotate. You step back one pace, lungs heaving. A fresh comrade immediately surges into your position, taking up the relentless pressure. In the brief respite at the rear, you snatch a helmet full of warm, iron-tanged water and drink greedily. A thin thread of energy returns to your limbs. Moments later, the signal sounds again, and you plunge back into the grinding wall of bronze and death. Your spear crashes into an enemy shield with brutal force. Wood cracks and shatters. The long shaft breaks sharply in half. Without hesitation, you toss the broken piece aside. Instinct kicks in. Your hand flashes to your hip, drawing the Siphos in a single smooth pull. The fight closes to desperate arm's reach. Now the short blade turns savage, hacking at faces, slicing through wrists, ripping deep into thighs and groins. Rage and pity vanish. Only the relentless rhythm of killing remains. As the sun sinks, the bodies stack higher and higher before you, creating a twisted, bloody wall of the dead that shields your line almost as well as bronze. On the second day, Xerxes drops caution and unleashes his elite Immortals, the royal guard of 10,000 hand-picked warriors. Beneath their richly embroidered robes shines real armor, bronze scales, reinforced corselets, and greaves far superior to common Persian gear. Their spears are longer than Greek dory, giving deadly reach, while their discipline is flawless, silent, precise, unyielding. The Greeks called them Immortals because when one fell, another instantly stepped into his place, closing any gap without hesitation. The battle shifts from slaughter to a brutal, evenly matched grind. Bronze screeches under heavy blows, shields buckle with metallic groans. Then, a small gap opens in your phalanx. An immortal exploits it. Ducking low, he slips under your spear and drives his dagger deep into your thigh. A searing explosion of fire races up your leg, sharp and blinding. Pain sharpens every sense to a razor's edge. Adrenaline floods your veins like fire, washing away fatigue. Time slows, each heartbeat thunders, every enemy twitch becomes clear. You read his next strike before he acts. Your counter thrust is lethal. The spearhead punches through his throat with a wet crack of bone. Blood sprays. A raw guttural roar tears from your chest. Pure primal rage. This is no longer Agoge drill. It is ancient savagery breaking loose. The immortals waver and pull back, leaving black masked bodies behind. Even they bleed. Even they can die. Darkness falls, and treachery strikes. A local Greek, Ephialtes, driven by greed or grudge, slips away and reveals to the Persians a secret mountain path that winds high above the pass and loops behind your position. At dawn, scouts race back, breathless, shouting the fatal news. Persian forces are already descending in your rear. The trap snaps shut, complete encirclement. What was once a steadfast defense has become a sentence of death. Leonidas, calm and unyielding, releases the surviving allies. Thespians, Thebans, others, giving them a chance to escape. Only the 300 Spartans stand firm. You all know this is your final sunrise. Breakfast is eaten in heavy silence, each bite deliberate, with the certain knowledge there will be no supper in this life. Leonidas breaks the quiet with grim, defiant humor. Eat well today, Spartans, for tonight we dine in Hades. A ripple of low, bitter laughter spreads along the line, cutting through the dread like a last spark of unbreakable Spartan pride. You abandon the narrow defile and stride forward onto open ground, resolved to sell your lives as dearly as possible, dragging as many Persians as you can into death with you. The disciplined phalanx shatters into chaotic, desperate individual struggles. You stand alone against 10 enemies at once, surrounded by swirling blades and shouts. Your aspis shield, battered beyond repair, cracks into useless fragments. You hurl the wreckage aside with a curse. Your xiphos sinks deep into an enemy's skull. You yank it free, but the blade snaps clean at the tang with a sharp metallic ring. Now unarmed, you become the weapon itself. Bronze-clad fists hammer into faces, crushing noses and shattering jaws with savage force. Later historians will write in awe that the Spartans fought on with bare hands, feet, and even teeth until the last breath. You lunge like a cornered wolf, tearing at an enemy's throat with raw fury, blood hot on your lips, refusing to yield even as the end closes in. You watch Leonidas fall, his body pierced by spears from every direction. Shafts jutting from his chest, arms and throat like grim iron thorns. The king is dead, eyes fixed on the sky he defended. Yet the fight rages on, now a desperate struggle for his corpse. 4 times the Persian tide surges to claim it. 4 times you and your brothers drive them back, piling their dead into a grotesque cairn around him, a rising mound of blood and bronze that guards the royal body. One by one your comrades drop, men who shared your hardships and grim jests, until only a few remain. Dinekes, who once laughed that Persian arrows would darken the sky enough to fight in shade, lies silent at last, an arrow through his neck. Suddenly the enemy withdraws, an eerie hush falls. You hear only your ragged breathing and the drip of blood. You look up, the light dims. Not clouds, but arrows. Thousands upon thousands arc overhead. Xerxes chooses distance. The sky rains bronze. No shield left. A shaft tears through your linen armor into your chest. Cold metal meets hot flesh. Legs buckle. You sink to your knees as the world blurs and sounds fade to a dull roar. You collapse onto your back. the ground warm and slick beneath you. Above stretches the same vast, endless blue sky you gazed at as a boy in Laconia. Pure, unchanging, indifferent to your end. Pain ebbs strangely, retreating like a distant tide, leaving only a numb clarity. You have honored the one unbreakable law of your life. Never yield, never step back. Your heart thuds once more, slow and final, then silence envelops everything. A soft wind stirs across the battlefield, rippling over a carpet of 20,000 Persian dead, mingled with the bodies of exactly 300 Spartans. Xerxes moves among the fallen, his face a mask of fury and exhaustion, searching for the Spartan king. Victory sits heavy on his tongue, tasting like ashes and regret. When he locates Leonidas, he orders the head severed and impaled on a stake, an act that shocks even his own customs of war. Your own head soon joins it, eyes still open, staring blankly at the sky. The victors strip your armor piece by piece, or the shield you bore since youth becomes their trophy, a prize from a foe they feared more than they admit. Yet no triumphant cries rise in their camp. They count the mounds of their dead and whisper in quiet dread, 8,000 more warriors like you still wait in Sparta, ready to fight again. Xerxes stands amid the slaughter, fury masking his unease. Victory came at a staggering cost. His elite guard lies broken. 20,000 of his men will never march home. He turns to his officers and asks the question that haunts him. How many more warriors like these does Sparta still hide? The answer chills him. 8,000 hoplites of equal caliber remain in the city. The empire has won the pass, but the fear of what waits beyond it lingers like smoke. Among the thousands of fallen at Thermopylae, no trace remains of Aristodemus. Earlier, before the final stand, King Leonidas had ordered him to leave the pass. A severe eye infection had struck him down, clouding his vision and leaving him half blind, unable to see clearly enough to fight in the tight ranks. He departed not out of fear or cowardice, but strictly under direct royal command. Leonidas would not allow a crippled warrior to die uselessly when he could still serve Sparta in other ways later. Yet Sparta's unforgiving code knows no such excuses. Absence from the line of death, no matter the reason, is branded as shame. When Aristodemus finally limps back to Laconia, broken and bandaged, the city turns its back on him. Doors slam shut in his face before he can even speak. No family hearth offers him fire or warmth. No neighbor greets him. No friend shares a word of comfort. His name is spoken only in whispers of contempt, spat out as a curse. They nickname him the Trembler, Aristodemus Ho Tremon, a title that clings to him like a stain. In the streets, he once marched proudly. He now moves as a living shadow, a walking ghost among the living. The man who had trained his whole life to die for Sparta is condemned to live in disgrace, forever marked by an absence he could not control. Another survivor, Pantites, had been dispatched as a messenger before the final stand. He returns to find the same silence waiting. Shame devours him faster than any wound. Unable to bear the ostracism, he finds a rope and ends his life. For a Spartan, disgrace cuts deeper than any blade. Aristodemus, however, chooses a different path. Survival, fueled by vengeance. He waits a full year, training in darkness, honing senses dulled by failing sight. He prepares not to live, but to die honorably. A year later, at Plataea in 479 BCI, the full might of Sparta marches. Aristodemus steps out of formation against orders. Madness, Lyssa, takes him. He charges alone into the Persian ranks, seeking the release of death. It eludes him for a long time. Only when his body is riddled with wounds does he finally fall. Sparta wins the day decisively. The invasion is crushed forever, yet the elders refuse him hero's rights. They declare he fought to die, not to win. Even in death, redemption is denied. More than 2.5 millennia pass.
Ancient artifact.
What endures of your life beyond the myth? The legend of 300 alone at the hot gates is powerful. yet incomplete. For the first 2 days, 7,000 other Greeks stood shoulder to shoulder with you. History quietly erased them. The million Persians, closer to 200,000, still an overwhelming tide in that constricted gorge. Most were not soldiers by trade, but farmers and craftsmen pressed into service. They fought bravely, yet their names fade while Sparta's brand burns bright. Archaeology speaks plainly now. The hill of Colonus hums with buried arrowheads, so many that metal detectors sing across the earth. Skeletal studies reveal Spartan men averaged around 170 centimeters tall for the era, their bones thicker and denser from lifelong rigor and deliberate breeding. The weak were culled in infancy. Only the strongest endured. Isotope analysis of teeth confirms a meat-rich diet, a luxury most ancient Greeks never tasted. An entire Hellid economy toiled so one warrior could grow powerful. Spartan women stood apart from their contemporaries. They ran, wrestled, threw javelins, their bodies forged as deliberately as the men's. A frail mother could not produce a formidable son. The state demanded strength from both halves of its future. While husbands bled on distant fields, wives controlled households and property, owning nearly 40% of the land. When a visitor once asked why Spartan women alone ruled their men, one replied without hesitation, "Because we alone give birth to real men." Their pride was unbreakable steel. Your final stand bought Greece 12 precious months. In that window, fleets were built, alliances forged, armies mustered. By 479 BCE at Plataea, 5,000 Spartan hoplites formed the anvil that shattered the remnants of Xerxes' host. The invasion collapsed completely. Had Thermopylae fallen in hours instead of days, Persian banners might have flown over Europe for centuries. You helped preserve the fragile seed of Western civilization. Yet the price was ruinous. Sparta perfected the art of war, but starved every other pursuit. No philosophers, no playwrights, no lasting art emerged from those valleys, only spears and silence. The machine eventually consumed itself. Birth rates plummeted. A catastrophic earthquake in 464 BCE fractured what remained. Sparta faded into obscurity. Today, no grand temples or theaters mark the site, only olive groves and wind. Yet the idea you embodied survives, that human will can outlast iron, stone, or empire. You were born in judgment, shaped in hardship, extinguished beneath a storm of arrows. You upheld the single commandment, never step back. Even when hope vanished, you stood firm. That chapter closes, but the saga of conflict never ends. You could awaken in another time, another skin. Whose life should we live next? Option 1, the samurai, bound by iron honor, wielding the katana, facing the ritual of seppuku. Beauty intertwined with merciless duty in feudal Japan. Option 2, the Viking, raw fury, axe in hand, raiding distant shores, dying with a grin to earn Valhalla's feast. Option 3, the soldier of the First World War, trenches, poison gas, machine gun nests, the greatest industrialized slaughter humanity ever devised. Drop your vote in the comments right now. The choice with the most support becomes our next journey. To join every new chapter from the beginning, subscribe and hit the bell. This is your summons to the ranks. Here we don't recite dry facts. We live history through sweat, blood, and steel. This is raw, unfiltered history. Every detail of your gear, every brutal custom, every archaeological truth has been faithfully rendered. You carry echoes of those who survived in your very blood. See you on the next battlefield. End of transmission.